Let's do this. What's happening? This is Mr. Royce J Media, coming at you guys with yet another live stream. Actually, coming back at you guys uh, with a redo of the last live stream. I had some sound difficulties. Uh, I don't know. I think OBS was tripping because it wasn't anything I had set up. Um, Maybe it was what I was talking about. You know, I don't put it past the YouTube Pilot Bureau to um, do things to disrupt certain topics. So it is what it is. Um, I'll probably never be monetized. So I would like to, but hey, it is what it is, man. You know, so yeah, so yeah, monkeys. Let's get back on this topic. Um, we see there's a lot of crime happening, and there's a lot of equality in the crime. A lot of equality popping off, you know. And I think with a lot of that equality, I don't think there's an equality of outcomes because that's not desired, of course, you know. But you know, I think women in the U.S. are making their presence felt when it comes to crime, and I think eventually the government is going to have to address it because um, you you have a situation where you know a certain part of the population feels that they are justified in committing violent crimes, and violent and non-violent crimes, and so in order to maintain order, the government has to address the crime problem, you know, uh, and part of that crime problem is the 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 violent the violence of women. We have the Violence Against Women's Act that you know has the intention of protecting women from violence in domestic situations, but there's nothing stopping the violence that women commit in domestic situations. And that being said, let's go to the first story. The first story, we're gonna be looking down, diving into the story of Sakina Muhammad. I mean, Sakina Muhammad was a former correctional officer in the state of Michigan in the area of Grand Rapids. So Grand Rapids of Flint. I can't remember, but she just got sentenced for deleting her boyfriend um, out of jealousy, and then she tried to concoct an alibi to justify her act of violence against this young man. So we're gonna dive into that story, and then I'll give my commentary and my thoughts on it. Let's go. Let's head to the video. All right, let's do it.
As indicated, the offense before the court is a murder conviction as well as a felony firearm conviction. I'm the judge who sat through the trial. I'm certainly not going to go through the entire week's worth of testimony. What I will say is that while the victim, Mr. Winston, and the defendant had been in what witness after witness described as being a somewhat toxic and abusive relationship, and the two of them did have a child together. Ms. Muhammad deliberately killed Mr. Winston after planning and then with the help of others constructed a story.
All right. Remember what I said before that you have uh, some women committing crimes and they feel justified in committing what is obvious, what are obvious crimes. And she was able to recruit others to help her out to try to concoct an alibi. After killing it, she planned on killing the victim. She planned on deleting the victim and then recruited others to try to build a defense. And those other, when I say those others, that is outside of the help of an attorney. Let's continue.
of self-defense. The defendant's text messages before and after the murder supported that that was the plan, and the defendant's testimony was not credible, nor is it accepted by the jurors in this case. There was a self-defense claim which the jury rejected, and as a result of that, we are here today.
So she got convicted by a jury. Let me tell y'all something. The time that I spent in law enforcement and seeing women have to go in front of judges, you know how hard it is to get a woman convicted in front of a jury because you're gonna always have the people with um, you know but mama syndrome, and you're gonna always have people that but you know especially in a crime against a man, you're gonna always have those people sitting on a jury that think, well, he must have done something. A woman wouldn't normally do that. He must have done something. It is hard to convict a woman. So yeah. Um, I'm really surprised at this. Let's continue.
As I indicated, the law prescribes a particular penalty for first-degree murder, and that is life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. And that is what I am imposing today. On the felony firearm, that also requires an additional 24 months of prison time to be served both before and consecutive to the life offense in the case. $60 DNA fee, $136 state costs, $130 crime victim assessment, $1,000 in court costs. Ms. Muhammad, you do have the right to appeal, and if you'd like to appeal.
All right, let's stop this right here. Um, and let's stop it. All right. So yeah, uh, Sakina Muhammad, she was found guilty by a jury, and she was sentenced to 13 years for the deletion of her boyfriend, or her baby daddy, whatever you want to call it. Um, you know, uh, uh, in the state of Michigan. And like I mentioned before, it's kind of hard, going in front of jury trials. And you're a woman that has committed a crime, especially a domestic crime. Those are some hard convictions to get. So I'm kind of surprised personally. Um, but it is what it is. Uh, we're going to go into another story, and with that story, you going back to the situation with Sakina Muhammad in this next story, this is actually a woman who is being charged with deleting a neighbor um, who she had a history of making threats of violence towards. Now, you have um, that is not the smoke alarm. That is my security system. It's my security system. Um, a door was open. So, but anyway, um, getting back to what I was saying, you there are times that women will make threats of violence, or threats of you know of retaliatory action, or what have you. They'll make threats against towards other people, and quite often those threats aren't taken serious. In fact, if those threats are made against a man, men go, it is not uncommon for men to go, she, she can't do anything to me. Why would a man be worried and stuff? As if there aren't tools to delete people out here. One of those tools are firearms. you can be you can be stabbed to death. You can be hit with a car, and we've seen instances of women committing uh, using all of these tools and other things to enact acts of violence against other people. This woman on the right bottom right of my screen, her name is Joe Junio, and she was charged with killing, with deleting uh, a neighbor. Let's take a look at the story regarding Joe Junio. To be
Why would I use kayak to compare hundreds of travel sites at once? I like to do things myself. I can't trust anything else to do the job right.
Tonight, new documents detailing the murder of a North Las Vegas pastor and the attempted killing of his wife. First brought you this story this weekend. Officers arresting that couple's next-door neighbor, who they say shot the couple in their driveway. 8 News Now anchor Sasha Loftus combing through this report tonight. She's live with more. Sasha.
Hold on. So she shot two people. She carried out an act of violence against two people. Let's continue.
David, these documents detailing the devastating moment this local pastor was killed in front of his home next to his wife and two children. The woman arrested, their next door neighbor, as you mentioned. Police say she had a history of threatening behavior. A North Las Vegas.
This is what I talked about earlier. She has a history or a pattern of threatening behavior, and it looks like it may have been ignored if it got to the point to where a violent action actually took place. Let's continue.
Vegas pastor murdered in the final days of 2023, and we're now getting a better idea of what led to the shooting of 46-year-old Nick Davey, who worked at Grace Point Church. 36-year-old Joe Junio, identified as Davey's neighbor, arrested, connected to his death and the attempted murder of his wife.
State of Nevada versus Joe Junio.
Documents state that Junio had been displaying, quote, escalating threatening behavior after the family had turned her into the home association for multiple violations.
Okay, so this woman made threats of retaliation for being reported for violating HOA, HOA rules and policies, so forth and so on. Again, I think this is a situation where this woman's threats of violence weren't taken seriously, and I think that it is my personal, professional opinion that this happens a lot, you know, and that we have to take threats of violence from anyone more serious. Let's continue.
They had reportedly called the police twice in December. Once when the report says Junio threw rocks in their backyard, then ran her finger across her throat in a cutting motion, threatening the family. The second call came after they stated Junio threw dog feces over her fence while screaming at them. A temporary protection order was also filed. The investigation showed things had gotten so bad, the couple and their two teenage kids had been sleeping at a friend's house.
Okay, so I'm surprised that the authorities didn't step in more assertively um, after it was after the family felt too unsafe to sleep in their own house. it's my personal opinion that the authorities probably should have stepped in more. Um, you know, I mean, there are things you can do. I mean, you can't obviously. Uh, you have to be careful of the laws when it comes to what's called assault, which assault is different than an actual uh, battery. An assault is more often a threat than it is an actual act of violence. That being said, you know, they should have found a way to at least had um, a more or less like premise checks because of the threats that this woman was making. I mean, it's a tough one to call, to be honest. But I think maybe had that been done, this situation probably would have been avoided, or maybe not. Let's continue.
which is where they were packing their car up to go. When the report states Junio drove up and shot both Davy and his wife while their 15-year-old daughter was recording on her phone. Officers say that video determined probable cause to take Junio into custody.
And was that read to her?
Now, Davy's wife is expected to recover. As for Junio's charges, they include murder, attempted murder, and 2 counts of child endangerment, since both of Davy's children were there when this happened. Of course, we have a look at the entire arrest report on our website, 8newsnow.com. Junio's next court appearance.
All right, we're going to end it right here. Shout out to 8 News Now from Las Vegas. With all of those charges that Joe Jr. got, she, he'll wind up with 5 years and 3 credited for good behavior because that's how our justice system has been working. I'm uh, the last story we covered that uh, that convict received 13 years, um, you know, because you know because vagina, because vagina, because ovaries, you know, um, in this one, if she's convicted, which it's highly likely she will be convicted. It'll be stop Asian hate. So, when they come up with this stupid stuff, they open themselves up for this criticism. So it'll be stop Asian hate. She'll wind up with you know slap on the wrist. It is what it is. So yeah, man, they out there wilding. Um, they out there wilding. She was making threats at her neighbors and stuff, and then eventually tried to make good on those threats. And at least with one of them, she carried out. She carried out what she promised. It really ain't a threat; it's a promise. She fulfilled her promise, and unfortunately, a man that served the people, a family man, uh, is no longer here among the living. You know, um, pray for his family. Pray for the Davy family, and hopefully they'll get the justice that they deserve, and hopefully the system will do the right thing and send Junio to prison. Give her some Buck Rogers time. You know, I would like to see her have more years than a football score. You know, so let's go on to our next story. Our next story is going to be about uh, a, a social media influencer who stabbed her boyfriend to death. This case happened last year, and it was hot in the news for a good minute, and you know, I guess now some actual footage from uh from the building where the crime occurred has been shown in court. So we're going to listen to the news commentary about this situation, and I'll give my thoughts. So let's do it.
We all like to shop around for the biggest value at the best price. Wouldn't it be nice if you could do the same for your degree?
Now to the Courtney Kenny case, the Kenny Clenny case, which is out of Miami. There's new video of an alleged attack on victim Christian Abumseli.
Hey, say Courtney Clenny 3 times. Say Courtney Clenny case 3 times. That's a little bit of a tongue twister there. Let's continue.
The video was shot in Aspen, Colorado in 2022 and was released by the Haggard law firm, which represents the Abumseli family. Now, this attack happened just before Abumseli was stabbed to death on April 3rd, 2022. And we want to warn you, it can be a bit difficult to watch.
Anyway, I was sober for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now why am I not sober? Because of you. But you're hindering my progress.
You need to sit down. You need to sit
Let go of me. Let go of me.
Come on.
Let go of me.
Okay.
Come on, boy. Let go of me. I can't even, I'll start to hit later. Get the off me.
You don't want to hit me?
Christian, he saw me, and I know he's looking. I'm fed up with you. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with how you treat me.
Courtney,
Yes, I'm not mad at you.
You let Moana say some line that affected you.
I didn't let her say anything.
I didn't say
you did.
Hey, let's go to Moana right now. Let's pull up her.
No. I'm just gonna hear her say
No, she's in the group chat. Let's put her on the phone right now.
I dare you.
Yeah, you dare me? Keep saying
you
it.
do it.
Then stop saying it then.
Do it.
Then stop saying it then. Then stop saying it.
All right, we're gonna stop right here for a second. And this type of aggressive, handsy, argumentative style. This is real common with women. They can't just argue or have a disagreement without the hands, and they've gotten away with it so long, they're very comfortable and think that they can do this, and they're giving the excuse of their emotions and hormones, and the guy is bigger, all kinds of stuff, when the thing is that adults should keep their hands to themselves. Male or female, keep your hands to yourself. There is no excuse to get handsy. And we seen she got handsy at least 3 times during this video. Let's continue.
Come on. Ask her. Ask her, did I touch her breast yesterday?
Instigative years.
No, you're telling me I touched her breast yesterday when I.
You did. I didn't say touch it.
You said I did.
You were leaning. Yo, you were dumb as. I actually don't agree with you. Actually, I'm done.
Okay.
Can you send him home?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm done.
Okay, fine.
Done. Because you're costing me money. I didn't do. He's like, I'm in this house because of you.
You let Mom say some line that.
No, because of you.
Yeah, she got bad and hit him. This is I've seen this a lot. I've experienced this, in my lifetime. Let's continue.
Flirting with 3 girls the whole time.
What 3 girls? What 3 girls? You?
Well, maybe
you?
matter.
You?
Milan.
Milan? I was flirting with Milan?
And she said, hey, come get your mans. She's trying to come home with me.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're lying. She said, come get your mans that I was trying to hit on Milan? Come on, baby.
Okay.
That doesn't even sound right.
Christian, you're fired.
Fine.
Hopefully, shut up.
You will never see me again. You are the most
good bitch. Shut up.
ever met in my life.
You will.
You corny.
Too. Get the out of here. Listen,
Shout out to Dr. Tia San Johnson and Dr. Tommy Curry. Violence the violence that occurs in domestic situations is largely bidirectional, and we're starting to see evidence that this is true more and more. The evidence was always there. Now the evidence is it's a lot harder to hide it, especially now. Shout out to same-sex marriages. Um, we now see that some of the most violent uh, couplings out there have been women on women. you know, so we, you know, and by this stuff being bi-directional, these are people fighting each other. This is why I know personally I advocate for mutual combat laws in all states, along with, mandatory DNA testing, all of that stuff. These are issues that are important to me. And like I said, mutual combat laws and stuff, this needs to be, I think this needs to be implemented nationwide because you have a lot of examples of women attacking men. You have a lot of examples of men and women attacking each other because of whatever. But it's not just, men just jumping on women, because, my mashed potatoes are too lumpy. Yeah, you didn't you didn't clean the toilet off good. You're not seeing that. What you're seeing is people having arguments, and somebody gets physical. 70% of the time, it's the woman. Let's continue.
House. Yeah, cool. It's not my house, really. You're just like my boyfriend. Get the out of here. Just like your boyfriend? I can actually get like down if you're not here. Yeah. Get the out of here. Okay, I'll remember that next time. Get out. No, that's not even the next time. Get the out of me. Stop touching me. Don't touch me again. Good thing, get out, bitch. Get out. Bitch. You never loved me. The way you talk, the way you treated like girls, and now you embarrass me. I don't want anything to do with you. I embarrassed you yesterday. You're really just self-conscious. You always talk about, oh, Christian, you like this. I say, what did I tell you before? You're the baddest person in this bitch. No one has anything on you. I tell you this every day. I have text messages.
The incessant need of, worship. Yeah, it's wild. All right, let's move this forward a little bit. I'm kind of tired of watching the video. Let's see what the reporter has to say. You know,
So difficult to watch those young people struggle. Clenny is being held without bond on a second-degree murder charge. The OnlyFans model's attorney says Abumseli was stabbed in self-defense because Clenny was a victim of domestic violence. Prosecutors claim Clenny was the abuser. The pair had a long history of domestic abuse. Clenny will be back in court tomorrow for a status hearing. Clenny's defense team issued this statement about this new video. And remember, this was released by the attorneys for the Abumseli family. This video is an example of the toxic relationship between Abumseli and Courtney Clenny. Evidence exists that Abumseli physically abused Courtney on prior occasions, and on April 3rd, 2022, Courtney was forced to defend herself from Abumseli's physical attack.
Okay, let's stop right here. Let's pause right here for a minute. Okay, look at what this is. The defense, and this is smart by the defense that they're doing what they're paid to do. Notice that they said this video is an example of the toxic relationship between Abumseli and Courtney Clenny. They turned the victim into the into the aggressor. This is blame the victim all day. you know, you can't blame the victim. When a woman is the alleged victim, but when a man is the alleged victim, you can blame the victim. All bets off. Go ahead and blame them. This is what the defense is doing, and they're going to be allowed to do this by the courts. Trust me on that. I'll be surprised if the courts, if this is not taken into consideration. by the courts. You know, let's continue.
All right, the defense there trying to turn it around. Here to discuss our two criminal defense attorneys, Marie Pedetta and Marsha Minot. Marsha, I'm going to start with you, and I just want to get your reaction to that video. Again, I just find it so hard to watch. I mean, you see two young people, particularly Courtney seems to have some self-esteem issues. The sort of same issues seem to be coming up in many of the videos and tapes that we've seen of them. Your thoughts?
I think this is a toxic relationship where it's disheartening to watch because it seems as if no one around this couple did anything to intervene to try to get some help because it is a train wreck that is waiting to happen. It sounds as if there are other individuals that were in the room or in the facility where they were having this argument. And it sounds as if there's a...
Hey, y'all remember what I say? You want to have somebody, take some BS and make it convincing. Y'all know who I said to do it. Let's continue.
Self-esteem issue going on with her. She is physically assaulting him, and you can see that. I think there are times where he was trying to hold her, to control her, or to get her to calm down. But it sounds as if he was defending even the allegations to not be true. But for other individuals, even the foot or the person who I saw in some of this video footage, to not have done anything, to not have seen this escalating to a place where somebody was going to get hurt, whether him or her, it's disheartening.
Yeah, it is. And, I can tell you this, Marie, Christian Abumseli seems to show restraint on a number of the videos that we've seen. Now, this was released with a statement by the family attorney as well, saying basically that the videos, it's a clear example of how the myths around men as victims of domestic violence can be dangerous. Security knew of the violence and did nothing. They could have prevented the stabbing. This was the stabbing that resulted in his death. Again, this video from Aspen, Colorado, shortly before that incident. What do you make of it? And I'm talking specifically about as evidence. A, can it come in, or will it come in this case? Again, the prosecution trying to show there was this pattern. Will it come in, and what does it really show?
Are you interested in starting your own faceless YouTube automation channel, but all people do is tell you to go to frickin' Fiverr and Upwork and hire people to make rain sound videos, motivation videos, and all this other useless crap that just doesn't work? And all you want is someone to level with you and show you what you actually need to do to build a highly successful YouTube automation channel that runs on autopilot.
But I want to say face to face. Because of you, I'm where I'm at. It would not be possible because of you.
Dude.
So I want to say thank you very much.
But luckily, I found Jordan. I've got 2 monetized channels already, and that's all following what Jordan teaches. It's amazing. It really is.
You see, a lot of people think that in order to run a successful YouTube automation channel, you have to hire people from Fiverr and Upwork and have them make rain sound videos.
Oh.
It shows, like Marsha says, toxicity, and it's painful to watch. And yes, it may come in if her defense is self-defense and if she's saying she was afraid of him. So these videos are clearly going to show how afraid of him were you when you were willingly attacking him and he really wasn't doing anything but holding you back, when clearly the size difference is evident and he could have hurt you.
Whoa. I'm actually shocked. These defense attorneys was a little bit different than what I was expecting. I tell you that much. Let's continue.
That is what's happening here. But I think with her, it's jealousy and control, and domestic violence goes both ways. A little tiny girl could murder a big grown man, as evident here. But I want to say,
whoa, I am flabbergasted. I am really flabbergasted. That all being said, I kind of know what's at play here. So, we'll talk about it. Let's continue.
Attorneys need to stop leaking these tapes. Let the DA do their job, because putting out these tapes against her is not helping the situation. It's going to taint a jury pool. It's going to give defense an argument that she can't get a fair trial. They need to just stop doing this right now. Stop leaking these tapes. Let the system do its job.
That's an interesting point, Marsha. I want you to comment on that as well. They're obviously trying to get ahead of this thing, put out information. They're also suing the building where the actual death and the stabbing happened.
Hey, they obviously want to see Courtney get convicted. I am rather surprised. But then again, I'm not. Let's continue.
And you can tell by their statement, they're sort of setting that up, that folks were aware of it and didn't do anything. Security there knew of it, again, because of this issue with male domestic violence and being victims of domestic violence. But your thoughts on why they would release this tape, and is it problematic for them?
I think the reason that they're releasing this tape is because we have a racial component, which is the pink elephant in the room. You have a young white female who killed a young black male. And when you say the word self-defense, the first thing that comes into mind is the woman is defending herself because she is the weaker sex. So I can see the motivation of the family to say, you are tainting this jury pool by calling her a victim, by saying she was defending herself, and by defense counsel constantly alleging that he's been a domestic abuser. So it's a battle of the public opinion, and that's why I think the motive behind them releasing these videos is what's happening.
Yeah, and basically her story that she told police, Abumseli grabbed her by the throat, threw her to the ground. She got away, somehow grabbed a knife, threw that knife at him, and that's how he ended up.
Hey, we're going to stop right here. So apparently, she is a knife-throwing ninja and was able to toss the knife at the victim and, causing the victim to expire. Yeah, I don't, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Understanding, I've used throwing knives before, axes, throwing axes, different things like that. Understanding how the average knife is made as opposed to a throwing knife. Put it this way, I'm not buying it. It's not plausible. I mean, it's possible, but it's not plausible. So it is what it is. All right, let's move on to our to another story. And this is not so much dealing with crime. This is more of a so-called Republican trying to use intersectional racism to claim victim status and to gain the sympathy of voters who are both women and who are both minority. So we're going to take a look at that, and I'll give my thoughts. Shout out Nikki Haley for trying to pull, an intersectional, an intersectional trope on the public, in hopes of in hopes of furthering her ambitions of becoming the GOP nominee for the office of presidency. This is kind of funny.
Are you looking to invest in ETFs? You can buy them on eToro in 3 easy steps. Browse ETF on the discussion.
All right.
With Ron DeSantis out, Nikki Haley has become the only serious contender to former President Donald Trump in the 2024 GOP primary. Now, during an interview with NBC News, Haley claimed that she was constantly bullied by her peers in the Deep South for being brown and gave her anti-racist bona fides. Take a look.
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day for being brown. So anyone that wants to question it.
Check it out. She tried to pull a POC card. Hey, shout out to Nikki Haley. You know, hey, do what it takes to win. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Oh yeah, that can mean a number of things with Nikki Haley. Let's continue.
Can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the Deep South as a brown girl. Anybody can look at my record and see when Walter Scott was shot down by a dirty cop, how I made sure that the Walter Scott family didn't suffer because we put the first body camera bill in the country in place. Anybody can look at the fact that when we
Hey, boy, hey, she's hitting all of the woke, um, left left leaning tropes. Uh, she's working it hard, bro. She's working it hard, people. She's working it hard to try to make herself seem like a uh, a better choice than either Biden or Trump. And she's playing to the crowd hard. Let's continue.
we had 9 amazing souls die in Mother Emanuel Church, I did something that no Republican or Democrat ever wanted to touch, which was call for the Confederate flag to come down because it would take 2/3 of the House and Senate and was an impossible feat.
Brown girl magic. Hey, I've had enough. She's trying to make that brown girl magic happen. Shout out Nikki Haley. Yeah, she took all of the woke talking points and she threw them against the wall like spaghetti, trying to see which one sticks. Woo. Yeah. Hey, this is gonna be an entertaining uh presidential race. Uh, you know, uh whether, no matter who runs, there's going to be some entertainment and I am here for it. So yeah. So all right, I'm going to shut this down right now. I might come back later with some more news because there's plenty of it. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. And so, why not, get in there and say what I got to say? Anyway, this is Mr. Royce of Royce Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Leave a like for me. I'd appreciate that. Um, I just got one like, so I appreciate that. Um, anyway, I may come back with some more news because there's plenty of news happening. Chicago is off the chain. St. Louis is off the chain. Hey, what up, Mike Reed? How you doing there, bro? Just missed you. Just missed the afternoon. Hey, that's all right. I appreciate you being here regardless. Get it on the back play, get it on the replay, bro. But yeah, there's crime happening all over the country. I might take a look at the decriminalization of all drugs in Oregon and see how that's going. I'm pretty sure that's an interesting topic, from just the little stuff I've seen. So we'll talk about it. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. Peace.